Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Baltic Ultimate Club Championships indoors, to the women's division, where we are in a group stage. Of course, it's going to be group stage most of the tournament, being honest, except for the last two games. But this time we have Ogre taking on DTS from Ogre from Latvia, from Ogre, local team. DTS from Lithuania, where Ogre is starting with a nice hammer from Linda Gulbe to Gundaga Pastore for a quick offensive hold. I am Dmitry Doroshenko, happy to bring you and call on this game of indoor ultimate frisbee. Nice opening point, very nicely done by Ogre to get a clean hold, the first of the game. Both teams have a few absent players. One of them could be a surprise for DTS. Kamila Reznikaite is not here, unfortunately. She is not playing in this tournament. However, of course, I'm sure DTS will do their best without their trusted handler, as she is. DTS is working pretty well. That disc up the field into the red zone and for a score. 2 clean holds in that game. Oh no, looks like it is not a score. It was called on the line. So DTS will get their disc back, and inside backhand throw. Looks like they may have been a call, but it was, even if anything was called, it was quickly retracted, and Ogre will have their first opportunity for a break. Mikulica picks up Samiete up the line to Pastore. Still on that line, on this near sideline, arcing, swing to Kalovanova, who put it into Mikulica, who started this point, of course. So Ogre managed to get a hold and then a break for themselves. DTS are a bit upset, of course, that that point was almost in, not quite, and then there was a throwaway. Not sure if you can hear Didzis there. Having fun with a microphone. Hopefully not. But let's get back into this game. So DTS is marching this disc down the line and down the field and into the hands of the defender, Linda Gulbe. There managed to defend this disc and maybe misread it a little bit, ran a little bit too much into the wrong side, could not elevate as high as she needed to, and DTS on the counter-attack, back on offense, which they have lost previously. Scuber for a defense by Melania Kalovanova. Ogre are playing very hard defense there. Kalovanova with the disc again to Liepina, to Butane, to Samiete, to once again to Kalovanova, to Samiete, and Kalovanova is looking for something in the end zone, but not this time. Butane, back to Samiete, to Liepina. Everybody's touching the disc. DTS are closing their zone, but not this time. Gulba there managed to outrun her defender, maybe get a step a little bit earlier for another break. 2 breaks in this game, and the first offense by Ogre. They are leading 3-0. I'm quite sure that this is a timeout by DTS. I would not be surprised if DTS would be calling a timeout at this stage of the game. They want to get themselves out, of course, of this hole of a 3-0 quick lead of Ogre. Most of the Ogre players just recently played in Hello Stockholm on a slightly different surface and mustered a win against Salaspils in the finals in Stockholm. They were, I think the name of their team was called Hot Shots. They did pretty good, of course, in their game, and looks like they would like to bring that momentum here to the indoor arena of Ogre Stadium. And do their best to beat DTS, who of course have a lot of accolades to them. That pull was a little too high, and it is bricked by Šlamaite. He's going to bring it a little bit up into the field. Šlamaite to swings it around. Now Basus with the disc back to Šlamaite, all the way back into the end zone, and now finds Gedvilaite, if I'm right. Šlamaite is playing very much behind the disc, but being a safe reset for all of her players. Now Darashkevičiūtė tried to find her player in the end zone. Oh no, that unfortunately went off the hands of Basus. And that is a turnover for Ogre, who might get another break here. Gundaga Pastore finds, a little too far for Gulba. She's calming herself down, but a great try, of course, for her. It was a good option, maybe a little too far, maybe it was a little bit too difficult to measure the power on that. Šlamaite, once again, with the disc, throws it to her player, number 17. Unfortunately, I don't have her on the roster, so I am not able to tell you who she is. If you know, please let me know in the comments, in the live chat. I will be very happy to know all of the players and all of their names. Especially, well, I do know the name of the person who just scored a point. That is Monika Šlamaite. Finally, DTS is on the board. It took them some time. It took them a turnover in every point, unfortunately, and even that hold was not a clean hold for them, so quite a difficult start for them. And it was, I wanted to bring you the name of the thrower there. That was Julia Petrovaite with the assist. Looks like this time Ogre is having a few problems with their communication, and DTS is able to get a break back. And they do. And they very much do. Number 7, Barbora Kundalaite. What a surprise that she scored that point. No, of course it's not a surprise. She's nursing a bit of an injury. Looks like she has a knee brace on her left knee. Hopefully it's nothing serious, but I've chatted with her a few weeks ago on Winter Beach that she wasn't playing as she was nursing a bit of an injury. So hopefully it is the recovery is going well for her, and it's good to see her on the field, of course. Ogre now, back on the offense. Great try by Gundaga Pastore, who is asking for that disc to be a little bit more of a bladey one, which would fall into her a bit better, but that was a little bit too high for her. DTS back on counter-attack. They would want to get this break back, of course. Sadly, now for Ogre, they are giving the mistakes away, and DTS would not ask for another opportunity to punish these mistakes. They are able to bring down the breaks pretty well themselves, but a little bit of a miscommunication. That disc was a little bit too far out of bounds for DTS, and Gulbe picks it up, blade into Samiete, and another arcing blade for Pastore, who was very close to the backline of the end zone, but it was called in by her opponent, by Slamaite, if I'm correct, and I think it was just in, so nice throw. This is telling me, Malderis on production, that he would say that it was on the line, but it's difficult to see from our camera angle, I think. Yeah, it's hard to call it. Definitely hard to call it, but it was called in by the opponents, so it is a score. If the opponents are happy with that reception, what can we say? Bad spirit by the opponents. That would be an interesting notion. Bad spirit for giving a score. Very unfortunate for Gatvilaita there. She was trying to chase this disc, maybe wasn't entirely ready to put her body on the line and muster a layout, but good try. She was a bit unhappy with herself, but that means that Ogre has an opportunity for a break. And is it a break? Not quite sure, as once again Ogre are exploiting full widths of the field and of the end zone, and it is not a break, it is a turnover, as that disc went a little bit too far out of bounds from Kalavanova. DTS are going to pick up once again. Swinging that disc around, still near their end zone. Ooh, Samiete, huge pressure from her onto Petrovaite. Petrovaite, Scuba for Kundelaite. Petrovaite to Kundelaite. We know that connection pretty well. Another score for DTS. Moments are up, still with this early lead of 3-0, but DTS are managing to claw back a couple of breaks. And this game is a lot closer than it was in the beginning, of course. Maybe some early morning nerves, but they are overcoming them pretty well. Ogre, back on offense. Moments. So far playing a little bit behind the disc. Ooh, great grab by Gulbe, called in by her opponent. Manages to hold on to it. Now Butane to Pastore, back to Butane. Right in the middle of the field to Mikulica, to Kalovanova. Pastore, Kalovanova, and to Pastore. Looks like they've practiced this particular play a few times before. Moments back on the board after a bit of a dry couple points that were somewhat dominated by DTS. And looks like there is another timeout. Maybe this time called by Moments. It's a timeout. We have a timeout on the field. Probably this time by Moment, who would like to get a little bit of a breather and not rush too much. It seems like some of their decisions are a little bit rushed. However, still works for them. They're still up by a couple of points, by a couple of breaks. While DTS still need to figure out how to get a couple of breaks back. That buzzer signifies that we are back in play. Ogra line is ready to pull. DTS line is ready to receive. They would dearly love another offensive hold for a chance to get a defensive break. Kundelaite to Darashkevičiūtė, who swings it around the line, around the out-of-bounds area to Julia Petrovaite for a score. I think this is a little bit more what DTS were planning in the beginning of the game. A lot less passes, better finds. 3-4 passes into the end zone. Obviously, much smaller fields than outdoor. So normally, sometimes even one pass is enough from one zone to another. And that's what DTS is showing us, that they are able to do it pretty well, of course. Could have been set play, but still, it is a score, 5-4. Now Moments on the counter-attack and another clean hold. Moments are showing us that they are able to do just the same thing. It was a very, very quick point by them. Very effective, very impressive. Samiete to Gulbe, who had to save this disc a little bit. Kalovanova, Mikulica, and Pastore. I think everybody touched the disc on that point. Mikulica to Pastore for a score. Great point. 6-4. Of course, trading points is good enough for Ogra from their perspective, being a couple of points up. But DTS will do their best to say something about that. Petrovaite finds Vaičiulytė. Now Kundelytė is looking for... Kundelytė finds Petrovaite, who tried to throw it to her teammate, to Darashkevičiūtė, but that did not work out. That bounced off her hands. There was a bit of a contact in the end zone earlier, but which did not affect the play and the turnover stands. Samiete picks up the disc for an opportunity of Ogra's break. Kalovanova unfortunately throws it into the hand of Kundelytė to defense, so DTS still have an opportunity for a break. No, sorry, for a hold. Oh, that was very, very close. DTS player there is claiming that she had the possession of the disc. In my perspective, she did, as she was coming down with it. I think the disc was non-spinning when the defense tried to hold on to it and grabbed it out of her hands. So disc stays with DTS. The goal was uncontested. Sorry, accepted. Slamaita now. And, uncharacteristic drop from Kundalita in the middle of the field. Moments have an opportunity, another opportunity for a break. They've had a couple of them this point, and this time they're going to take it. Butane to Kalavanova for a score and for a halftime. 7-4. Ogre are leading by a few breaks. DTS looks like they're finding their rhythm, but still have a few things to clean up if they would like to win this game. Halftime break. We will see you after that. Give us a few minutes and don't go anywhere. One. Hello. Let's see. We are back. That was a very, very quick halftime break. Well, we are back with DTS getting on their offense. Butane to oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong roster. Apologies. Gedvilaite there, throwing to Mitkevičiūtė. And now back to Gedvilaite. Another big arcing swing to Basus. Looks like Moments are closing this zone pretty well. And they are also putting a lot of pressure on these swings. So getting every disc out seems to be a difficult thing. But finally, Mitkevičiūtė finds her teammate Gedvilaite in the end zone for a clean hold. I think it's one of the first clean holds by DTS in this match. Moments are making it quite difficult for them in this matchup. To tell you a little bit about the format, we have 5 teams, if I remember right. No, 6 teams in the... No, 5 teams in the women's division. Everybody's going to be playing everybody. And in the end, the best 4 teams are going to be playing for the 3rd and 1st place. There will be no semifinals. So the best 2 teams after the group stage will play for the 1st place, and the second 2 best teams will play for the 2nd place. Sorry, for 3rd place. Apologies. Samiete into Pastore for another clean hold of Ogre. They had a lot more clean holds, of course, than DTS had. 8-5 is the score. So far, Ogre have the upper hand on their opponent, at least for the moment. Of course, DTS will try to bring up the pressure and not let Ogre run away with this game, but looks like Ogre have very good plans and very ambitious plans for this tournament. I'm sure that they would be very interested in winning this tournament altogether, but they have quite a few opponents, of course, to go through. This time the throw goes into the floor by DTS. Mikulica picks it up for Pastore, who swings it around to Liepina, who sends a fairly difficult hammer to catch to Pastore, but Pastore had a great read on that disc, managed to snatch it from in front of her defender. Difficult grab, but she did pretty good with it. Another break, 9-5. And moments are running away with it just a little bit. DTS, sadly, a few uncharacteristic errors, a few drops over there, but this time looks to be pretty well. Great scuba to Kundalita, who threw it to her teammate into the end zone, but it looks like there was a travel called on Petrovaite. So the disc goes back to her, back to the end, back to their own half of the field. Petrovaite to Mitkovičiūtė. Disc is now with, disc was with Petrovaite, who threw it once again to Mitkovičiūtė for another score, for another clean hold by DTS. They did it the second time of asking, of course, after that travel called, which was uncontested, wasn't really discussed, so good spirit on both sides. Nice to hear that, nice to see that. And still DTS managed to squeeze it into the end zone. Maybe looked a little bit more tricky than on the previous try, but I guess they had a couple of players who were not really playing and the defenders who stopped running because of the travel call. Anyway, Ogre now back on their offense. Butane with the disc to Gulbe, to Mikulica. Another scuba to Gulbe. Kalavanova now with the disc. Mikulica once again to Butane, who managed to grab this disc just before the out-of-bounds line on the far side of the end zone. Difficult grab and good catch. Yes, she had her foot in as she received this disc. Great awareness, great. Can't really say toe drag, but very good awareness, of course. And making that catch in step. Well done. Ogre now, moments on defense, pulling a little bit too high and a little bit too far for DTS receiver, who is Petrovaite there, I think, quite sure. Picks it up on the brick mark to Kundalita, who throws it to her teammate into the end zone for another score. Petrauskaite there with the score. Quick point by DTS. I think it was 2 passes. Yes, brick mark into the isolated player of Kundalita to Petrauskaite. So yes, quick and effective point, just like DTS normally plays, but looks like Moments and their defense are creating a lot of mistakes for them. Moments now with offense. Mikulica to Samiete to Pastore, who puts it really high, a little too high, a little too far. She's upset about that. Apologizes to her teammate Kalavanova for that throw, which was, a little bit too much power on it. Maybe could have been a bit too much zing and blade on that throw. Not this time. This time it is DTS who is coming down with a defense and working their disc up the other way. Kundalita with the disc swings it to her teammate, whose number I don't have on my roster, unfortunately. Now disc with Darashkevičiūtė. Swings it back, and that was a little bit too far over the near sideline and out of bounds. Mikulica picks up for Moments to Pastore, who swung it and went into the end zone herself for another very nice and an impressive score. That disc was difficult, and maybe she was not very well aware where she is, that she had a bit more space closer to the back of the end zone for an easier grab, but she decided to take it high, take it quick, get a score. 11-7. 7-11, time for a Slurpee. Not sure if there are any Slurpees in Ogre, but we should probably find some. Didis Malderis is waving his finger at me and telling me no Slurpees here.
They only have a milkshakes, the only Hesburger in Latvia where they have milkshakes. No, you know.
It's the only thing that we can get is a milkshake in Hesburger in Latvia. From milkshakes to DTS and to Scoobers. Ooh, great snag there. Nice score by DTS. Petrovaite to Petrauskaite for another hold. No more milkshakes. 11-8. We only have about 1 minute on the clock left, after which we will be playing the soft cap rule, meaning finish the point. When the time is over, finish the point and add 1 to the highest score and play to that new target, so to say. However, if Moments will score this point, it will be a game to 13 regardless of who scores the next one or the previous one. And looks like this is what's going to happen. Samiete to Mikulica, great friends off the field, great teammates on the field, connecting there for a score. A low release forehand. Yeah, not an easy catch for Mikulica, but she grabbed this disc pretty well. 12-8, game to 13, regardless of the time, which has just run out. as you can hear by obnoxiously loud buzzer. But we are playing to 13 anyway. DTS fielding the pull, moving the disc in their own half for the moment. Slamaita moves it into their opponent's half. Gedvilaita gets the disc and throws an arcing blade around to Petrovaita, if I'm right. Yes, it is Petrovaita. So another point for Petrovaita. I think she scored quite a few in this game. She is one of the main players on the DTS squad. Veteran player, played for quite a few years, if I remember correctly. But we are in match point situation for the second point in a row. Moment now getting their offense, and if it's going to be a clean offensive point, then it's going to be a game for Ogre, of course. For the moment, they can't really get out of their own end zone. That makes it quite difficult for them. Pastore finds Kalovanova there. Back to Pastore. They're swinging it side to side. Kalovanova once again. Ooh, difficult grab under a lot of pressure. But finds Gulbe. Back to Kalovanova. Back to Gulbe. On the doorstep of the win. But no, has to go back to Kalovanova. To Lepina. Back to Kalovanova. They're playing patiently. Ooh. Pastore there tried to put a high disc to Lepina, maybe a little bit too short, and DTS player managed to knock it off the way, and that is a turnover, and that is an opportunity for DTS for a break. Too much mustard on the disc, looks like. That went a little too far and also out of bounds, so it was impossible for Kundalita to pick it up. Ogre Moments will have another opportunity for a hold. Oof! Kalovanova there slipped and almost fell, but managed to hold on to the disc. To Lepina, to Gulbe, who puts a blade, arcing blade to Pastore. Another arcing blade side to side. They really like playing that side to side swings, but Lepina once again makes a bit of a mistake. Maybe this time it's a bit more of her mistake than the receivers. And DTS, another opportunity for a break. They do not want to let this game go. Darashkevičiūtė with the disc, surveying her options, and Pastore there outruns the DTS receiver for a defense. Mikulica with the disc to Gulbe, who was right on the line but not in. Back to Mikulica, now to Lepina. They would like to play nice and easy and just walk it in to the end zone. Mikulica now again with the disc, surveying her options. The handlers behind the disc are quite open. Kalovanova, Lepina, Mikulica. Nothing in the end zone. DTS are closing the end zone. They are very well known for their zone defense. They're just not letting anything through. Gulbe now comes out of the end zone to Lepina. To Gulbe, who's tried to squeeze it in, but nothing there. Back to Lepina, Mikulica. So still need to work around Gulbe once again on the doorstep, but not quite in. Lepina, Mikulica, Kalovanova. They are working that disc around, moving the zone. Who is closing the end zone? And another difficult grab by Kalovanova, and a blade. Looks like more to the defender rather than to Gulbe. Yeah, patience, of course. Sometimes it's easy to run out of it, and looks like this is exactly what happened here on Moment's side, and they threw it into a defender. Now DTS, opportunity for a break. Gedvilaite to Kundelita. Now to Petrovskaite. And that is a break, finally. DTS, sorry, I got a bit distracted here by our production team, who is predicting a timeout. I'm not sure, do the rules actually allow calling the timeout in the end? I'm not entirely sure.
Linda wants to take a timeout. I think she can, right?
Interesting, yes.
Would you argue with Linda about the timeout if she called it?
Didis Mulder is here is telling that we have a tournament director on the field, Linda Gulbe, on the Moment side, and he's arguing that if they would want to call a timeout and if it is against the rules, she can just rewrite the rules. I mean, I'm sure that she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. And they wouldn't need to do that because that was a beautiful score from Samiete to Pastore for a nice celebration there. Moments are starting the day with a win over DTS. I'm sure that DTS were predicting a different result, but you've heard it here first. Local Ogra Moment ladies taking on Lithuanians. DTS 13-10. Next we will bring you Ventspils against Ogra, Pool B, men's Pool B. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back to Baltic Ultimate Club Championships. We're going to bring you the camera fit in just a second, but I will be commentating anyway and telling you what's going on the field. On the field we have Ogre men's team this time taking on Ventspils men's team for a Pool B, the first game of the men's Pool B, where Ventspils scored their first point. Ventspils are getting their clean holds for the moment.